Hiroto and Rina watching a video of the fake Sarasa Saionji attempting to intimidate them by challenging them to a battle in the astral game. The stakes are high. If the fake Sarasa Saionji wins against Rina, she must hand over her Saionji Sarasa account to the imposter. If Rina wins, she will become the true empress, and if Hiroto wins, he can choose who is worthy of the title of Saionji Sarasa, the true empress. Rina is infuriated by the fake Sarasa Saionji's threatening behavior, assuming that Kurahashi is behind the scheme, manipulating the fake Sarasa Saionji figure. Hiroto becomes increasingly frustrated with Kurahashi's attempts to eliminate people and leave them discarded. Hiroto kneels and implores Kaguya for assistance when the astral match begins, asking for help to become the team leader so that his teammates won't reveal his true identity while defeating the other three leaders and preparing to face the dangerous impersonator. According to Kaguya, Hiroto is an obedient child, and he agrees to help. Hameji adds that Hiroto must win the astral game because team members ranked 6 stars and below will lose 1 star. If Hiroto loses a star, it will all be over. Hameji also explains a new rule on Libro where island students can predict who will win the game. Kaguya asks whether the support rankings affect player movement or not. Hiroto clarifies that in the early rounds, position and ability will determine the winner. Kaguya agrees to borrow the data by accessing it from the server and sending it directly. Hameji inquired about the abilities that would be used during the astral game. Hiroto would be using the abilities of the Violet Star, namely Black Wings. He would also utilize the Green Star ability, which is movement prediction. As for the third ability, that would be decided later once they were inside the game. Hameji, on the other hand, planned to use a support ability called Replacement, which could exchange one player's ability. Because it was quite expensive, she had to ask the company for assistance, but she believed it would be very useful in critical situations. Rina called Hiroto late at night to check on the team's readiness for the match the next day. She was feeling uneasy because all the Uka students were looking at her with excitement since she would be their team's ace. Hiroto understood the pressure due to her title as the Empress, but what made her even more anxious was the lack of alone time. Except for bedtime, when she couldn't speak to Hiroto, spoken softly. She felt embarrassed, meaning she didn't want to see him because of that. However, she promised not to lose to the other teams. The first day of Astral arrived, and Shinji was confused because their location was just an empty field. Then the tournament presenter, Suzerain Kazami, appeared, who would guide the tournament and explained that the game would use augmented reality to transform the empty field into a real battlefield. The Astral game had begun, and Shinji immediately assessed the team's surroundings to see the path to Team Aimai's base and identify the neutral area to take control of it as quickly as possible. Hameji took her first steps to claim the neutral area while activating her special ability while on the battlefield. By issuing position commands, the time to take over the area would adjust based on the movement value multiplied by 10. Since Hameji's movement value was 9, the stopping time would be 90 seconds, and when the stopping time expired, the area would belong to Team Aimai. This would create a straight line from each area taken over if it was in a straight line with the starting point. Hiroto estimated that the stopping time would waste a lot of time, but Shinji was more concerned about team members who had already used their stopping time, as losing their abilities would be a significant issue. In the game, if someone was attacked by an enemy after using their stopping time, they couldn't avoid it. Hiroto quickly thought that paying attention to the stopping time would be useful at the right moment. Then Noah attempted an experiment with her ability, using numerical calculations that, as it turned out, couldn't influence movement values. This delighted Noah because it meant she could ask Hiroto for protection. Hiroto explained another fundamental aspect of movement values, where every team member within a captured zone would experience a reduction of 2 seconds in their movement value. Leveraging this advantage of reduced time within the team's zone would be more effective in expanding their territory. Asamiya agreed with Hiroto's perspective, and initially underestimating Hiroto, Shinji was now impressed by his decision-making instincts. Hiroto used the special ability from the Green Star, Control Information EX, which allowed him to track the next base they would capture and facilitate their planning. Capturing neutral bases would make it easier to expand the team's zone. The bases were located to the north and east of their current position. Shinji suggested taking control of the eastern direction, which he believed was the best choice because the placement of the bases wasn't random and the travel distance would be the same, improving our chances. Hiroto added that for the use of mantras, it could all be launched from the base within a certain time frame, but they couldn't use them right away. Mantras would be placed in the team's slot, and to use them, they would need to move them into their personal slot, taking into account what each member possessed. Noah wasted no time in selecting a suitable mantra, and Asamiya did the same but playfully teased Shinji by trying it on him. Shinji couldn't resist the idea of being attacked by a beautiful girl, but he clarified that it wouldn't apply if it was Asamiya who said it. Then Hameji suddenly disappeared from the team's view, prompting Asamiya to inquire about her whereabouts. It turned out she was playing a prank on her master Hiroto while covering her eyes. Hameji attempted to use the hide mantra to move without being detected by the enemy, and it turned out to be a time-stop experiment that only took 2 times the movement value, making it 18 seconds in total. Asamiya also used a sword mantra to summon her weapon. The first day concluded with Uka Academy leading with 22,125 areas, while Aimai Academy received the most votes in the voting, totaling 7.2%. On the evening after the first day of the competition concluded, Team Aimai had dinner together at the hotel provided by the organizers. Seiran, who approached Hiroto during the meal, warned him not to get too overconfident because Academy Ottawa, with Seiran as the leader of the self-made Holy Knights, along with their members, would be able to defeat Aimai. This was Seiran's way of seeking revenge for their previous defeat. Hiroto, not paying much attention to Seiran, was more focused on gathering information about the teams that posed a threat to their position. Then Hameji began providing information about teams from other academies such as Shinra from District 7, known for their unfriendly students, which allowed them to rank in the top 3 last year. They had to be cautious of their leader, Kirigaya Tuya, who held a 6-star ranking and was known as the absolute king, willing to do anything to win. Shinji added that if they faced the Shinra team, Tuya wouldn't hesitate to use any means necessary to force them off the island academy. On the other hand, there was another formidable and dangerous team. From the women's academy, Suri Kururubi Senri from District 16. She was a true monster, and if they encountered her, Shinji advised them to run instead of facing destruction at Senri's hands. Hameji explained Senri's terrifying ability, known as one-shot kill. If the conditions were met, this ability would instantly send a player to the grave or, in other words, result in an instant defeat, earning her the nickname Demon Girl. Suddenly, Senri appeared to welcome Team Aimai, and she was immediately drawn to Hiroto due to his reality-altering abilities. Senri quickly shared facts about Hiroto with the Aimai team, revealing that Hiroto had graduated from a university in America at the age of 5, an unusual feat for a child. He had received specialized training from a secret organization to develop his natural abilities. Hiroto knew right away that it was Kazami Sujuren who had disclosed this information. Senri wasn't afraid, as she was confident she would easily win. Lastly, Hiroto had to be particularly wary of the fake Sarasa Sayonji orchestrated by Kurahashi, who had sacrificed one academy slot to allow her to participate. This fake Sarasa Sayonji would directly challenge the true empress. Hiroto woke up from his sleep, realizing he was already in the room with a soundly sleeping Shinji. He decided to take a shower to clear his mind. After his shower, he noticed a little girl trying to reach for a cake she desired. Hiroto offered to help her get the cake, and she thanked him but then asked a question that puzzled him. The girl felt unsure about what would happen next because she wasn't supposed to get too close to someone she had just met. Her Reisendieter ability left Hiroto confused as he attempted to pronounce it. She seemed like a middle school girl, but she wasn't a participant. It turned out her older sibling was part of Libra, which led her to join the MTCG by showing her room key. Her different eye colors caught Hiroto's attention since he had never seen that before. Because the girl couldn't return to her hotel room, she persuaded Hiroto to accompany her to an arcade center inside the hotel, and Hiroto tried everything she wanted to do. The girl eventually grew tired and fell asleep in Hiroto's arms, and he escorted her back to her hotel room. The second day of Astral began with Team Aimai encountering the enemy team from Abra Academy. Their leader, Yuko Akane, negotiated with Hiroto for a temporary alliance. Hiroto seemed reluctant to form an alliance due to hidden intentions, But Asamiya, upon seeing someone she disliked, let her instincts override her judgment, and negotiations were cancelled, leading to a battle. Fortunately, Aimai won the battle, but Shinji was angry with Asamiya for acting recklessly, attacking the enemy without proper consideration. It was her actions last year that had caused Aimai's defeat due to her hindering the team's movements. Shinji felt like he was the villain for making Asamiya angry and causing her to leave abruptly. Hiroto agreed with Shinji's words, but his delivery hurt Asamiya's feelings. The second day of Astral ended with Uka Academy leading in areas with 64,212, and Aimai still had the most votes with 15.3%. The question remained, could Aimai defeat the two leaders from other teams to fulfill Shinji's conditions, or would Hiroto lose faith as a commander?